Welcome, everyone. Ready to dive deep into a topic that's probably familiar,
Yeah.
multiple intelligences. But we're going way beyond those, catchy labels and those online quizzes. We're going deep into Howard Gardner's book, Frames of Mind,
Frames of
and
mind.
trying to see what this theory actually means and,
Yeah.
how much evidence is actually backing it up and why it even matters,
Right.
to you, even if you ace those standardized tests.
Yeah, it's interesting. This theory really did shake up how we thought about intelligence, for so long. The assumption was always that there's this single general intelligence and we all have it to, varying degrees. Something that those IQ tests think they can quantify.
Right, the infamous IQ tests.
Yeah.
And
That,
Gardner argued that those tests only capture, a sliver of our potential,
yeah.
cognitively.
Yeah.
It's almost like saying, judging a fish by how well it climbs a tree.
Exactly.
That's what those tests sometimes feel like.
Exactly. And that's precisely what, Gardner was pushing against. He was proposing a much broader perspective.
Right.
With 7 distinct intelligences. So we have linguistic, musical, logical, mathematical, spatial, bodily, kinesthetic,
It's quite a list.
interpersonal, and intrapersonal. And he even suggested there might be more,
Oh, wow.
which is, interesting. So it's not just this single spotlight. It's this whole array of lights illuminating all these different facets of human capability.
I like that analogy. But what makes each of these intelligences unique?
You can think of them as specialized cognitive tool sets. So linguistic intelligence, they excel in the world of language. They understand all of the nuances, the structure, the power it has to persuade, to delight. Musical intelligence, they're attuned to the intricacies of sound, pitch, rhythm,
Mhm.
the ability to compose and appreciate those musical forms.
And then you have the logical mathematical intelligence, which is
Yes.
the main of reasoning, pattern recognition, like
Mhm.
those people who thrive on those numerical relationships,
Yes.
deciphering those.
Absolutely. And then there's spatial intelligence. That shines in perceiving and manipulating visual and spatial information. So think mental rotation, understanding forces, recognizing similarities across different domains.
Okay.
Bodily kinesthetic intelligence, on the other hand, that's all about the skillful control and coordination of movement. Expressing yourself physically, manipulating objects with precision, mastering complex physical skills.
So we've got language, music, logic, spatial reasoning, physical. What about social smarts? Where does that fit in?
Yes. So interpersonal intelligence, that's where they really excel. Understanding and connecting with others,
Okay.
accurately reading moods, motivations,
Right.
navigating all those complexities of social interactions.
Right.
And interpersonal intelligence takes that understanding inward.
Okay.
It's that self-awareness, recognizing their own emotions, their own motivations, their strengths and weaknesses.
So it's like having this detailed map of your own psyche.
Yeah, precisely.
Uh-huh. I love that. But how did Gardner address people who would criticize this and say, aren't these just talents or skills, not intelligences? How did he kind of combat that?
He actually offered quite compelling evidence from different fields.
Okay.
So, for instance, neurological studies.
Right. Yeah.
They show that different areas of the brain, they're specialized for different cognitive functions.
What?
So you damage one area, you might impair language, but spatial abilities are intact, suggesting these distinct neural underpinnings for each intelligence.
So it's not like this big blob of intelligence in our brain. It's very specific areas.
Exactly, yeah. And you can also look at it from the evolutionary argument.
Right.
Think of the challenges that, our ancestors face.
Right.
Bodily kinesthetic intelligence, that was vital for crafting tools and hunting.
Makes sense.
Spatial intelligence, crucial for navigation and mentally mapping their environment.
Right.
So these intelligences likely evolved as humans, had to adapt to those specific survival demands.
It's like each one became its own specialized tool
Cerebrally.
in the toolkit,
Yeah.
in our human toolkit,
Yeah.
honed over millennia.
Yeah.
And then you look at it cross-culturally,
Yes.
which adds another layer of intrigue to it all.
Oh, absolutely. Different societies value and nurture, specific intelligences, shaping unique cognitive strengths.
Right.
The Puluot people,
Oh, right.
they're renowned for their navigational expertise,
Right.
and they rely heavily on their spatial intelligence,
Yes.
a deep understanding of celestial bodies.
It's fascinating.
Then you have Islamic scholars.
Right.
known for memorizing these vast religious texts, incredible linguistic memory skills.
So each culture is cultivating
Yes.
certain intelligences
Exactly.
to kind of meet their needs.
Yeah.
So are these intelligences fixed at birth,
Right.
or can they evolve
Yeah.
through education and experience?
That's where it gets really captivating.
Okay.
Gardner argued they're not static. They're shaped by this really intricate interplay of biology,
Right.
culture,
Okay.
and personal factors. So while genetics do lay the foundation,
Right.
it's the cultural values,
Mm-hmm.
educational practices, opportunities, motivation, effort, individual learning styles,
So many things.
all play a crucial role.
So nature kind of gives you the raw materials, but nurture shapes how you actually turn out.
Precisely, yeah. You think about, traditional Islamic education. They emphasize rote memorization and linguistic mastery.
Right.
That contrasts sharply with modern secular education, which prioritizes scientific thinking and logical reasoning.
Right.
So depending on, your environment and the learning experiences,
Right.
certain intelligences will flourish more than others.
It's fascinating. But, if each person has this unique intelligence profile, then what does that mean for education? Should we focus on honing our existing strengths
Yeah.
or bolstering those areas of weakness?
That is a crucial question,
Right.
and it sparks a lot of debate within education. Emphasizing strengths, that lets individuals excel in areas where they have natural talent.
Right, where their passion lies.
Yeah.
You're igniting that spark. But wouldn't addressing weaknesses create a more well-rounded skill set? That would open up more opportunities.
Certainly.
It's a tough one.
It is, and the approach needs to be tailored.
Okay.
Rather than forcing someone who struggles with, spatial reasoning to become an architect.
Right.
Maybe we help them develop compensatory strategies or highlight different pathways.
Right.
Maybe their strengths in linguistic and interpersonal intelligence could lead them to a successful career in architectural communication.
Right, so playing to their strengths.
Exactly.
But even with this widespread impact,
Mm-hmm.
this theory has faced criticism.
Oh, absolutely.
People say that there are no standardized ways to measure this.
Yes, that's a common one. While IQ tests can quantify, traditional notions of intelligence,
Right.
assessing these diverse abilities.
Right. How do you even measure it?
Exactly. And it's hard to distinguish between an intelligence and a talent or a skill.
Right. Where's that line?
Exactly. Where is that line? And some even argue that it's oversimplifying complex cognitive processes.
How-
Reducing intelligence to these distinct categories might not capture the full picture.
Right.
But even with these criticisms, Gardner's work has really sparked vital conversations about intelligence.
It makes us really think about it.
It does. It makes us move beyond this narrow, one-dimensional perspective.
Right. Reevaluate what it means to be intelligent
Absolutely.
and how we nurture it in ourselves and others. Did Gardner ever expand his theory beyond just the individual brain?
He did.
Okay.
He introduced these really interesting concepts of the contextualization and distribution of intelligence.
Okay, those sound interesting.
So taking it beyond the confines of an individual skull.
So it's not all in our heads. Where else could it be?
Contextualization. That highlights the role of our environment in shaping how we think.
So being human in a technologically driven society is different from being human in a preliterate society.
Absolutely. Yeah. Our cognitive abilities, they're molded by the world around us.
So it's not just internal, it's external too.
Exactly. Distribution suggests that intelligence isn't exclusively housed within our brains.
Okay. If it's not in our head, where is it?
Think about the tools we use, Technologies, symbolic systems.
Okay.
They extend our cognitive reach. A calculator amplifies our mathematical capabilities.
Right.
A smartphone that enhances communication and memory.
So they become extensions of our mind,
Precisely.
like glasses for our vision. But you also can't forget about social interactions.
Absolutely, that's key.
We learn from each other.
Mm-hmm.
We collaborate on projects. We build on each other's knowledge, creating a collective intelligence.
Exactly.
It's not just two heads are better than one. It's like two heads are exponentially better than one.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Mm.
It makes you wonder, could the digital age, with this constant connectivity and new technologies, be birthing new forms of intelligence
Yeah.
or changing existing ones?
That's a question worth pondering.
Right.
But before we go too far down that road, let's recap some of the key points.
Okay, let's consolidate this. What have we learned so far?
First, Intelligence is not just one entity. It's a diverse set of capabilities.
Okay.
Traditional IQ tests, they just don't capture the full range of human intellectual potential.
Third.
Gardner proposed 7 distinct intelligences.
Right.
And there could be more.
Fourth.
Each intelligence has its own, set of core abilities, operations, and developmental trajectory.
Fifth.
Neurological studies, evolutionary biology, cross-cultural observations, all of that supports the idea of multiple intelligences.
Sixth.
Different cultures they value, and they cultivate different intelligences, leading to, distinctive cognitive strengths.
Right. Seventh.
Intelligences are not fixed. They can be developed.
Eighth.
Through education and experience. Education should strive to match teaching methods to individual intellectual profiles.
Ninth.
Intelligence is not solely an individual capacity.
Right.
It's shaped by artifacts, social interactions, and the wider context.
And finally, 10th.
Gardner's theory, while it is subject to debate, it continues to evolve as we learn more about the human mind.
Absolutely. Stay tuned, because we're going to explore the implications of these insights in part 2 of our deep dive.
Yeah. It's amazing how, this theory's changed our view of intelligence, recognizing all these capabilities that go beyond what the IQ tests measure.
It's a paradigm shift. It really is.
Yeah.
But knowing about these different intelligences is just the first step, right? The real power is, how do we use this knowledge
Exactly, yeah.
to learn better and grow?
And that's where we're going to, focus our attention now, exploring those practical implications
Okay.
for education and personal development.
Perfect. Let's dive into those practical applications. Imagine, a young woman in Paris composing electronic music on her computer.
Okay.
I think that's a beautiful illustration
It is.
of how technology can play a role with these multiple intelligences.
It is.
Opening up new avenues
Mm-hmm.
for learning and self-expression.
It really is a compelling illustration. She's seamlessly blending, that logical mathematical intelligence,
Right?
which is required for programming, with her musical intelligence as she crafts these compositions.
Right.
And it all unfolds in this, individual self-directed environment,
Right.
which highlights, a key opportunity for, modern education,
All right.
harnessing the power of technology to engage these diverse intelligences.
And it's like technology is a catalyst, allowing individuals to explore their strengths in ways that we couldn't even imagine before.
Yeah.
Someone with strong spatial intelligence could delve into 3D modeling
Right.
or virtual reality,
Right.
creating immersive worlds. Or, someone with bodily kinesthetic intelligence could use those interactive simulations or motion capture technology.
Exactly. It's not just about adopting these new tools. It's about rethinking how we teach. The traditional classrooms with the rote learning and the standardized tests,
Right.
that often fails to tap into all of these different intelligences.
It's like trying to make everyone fit into the same mold
Exactly.
when they all have these strengths and preferences.
Yeah, a more effective approach is creating learning environments that are, personalized,
Right.
experiential, and cater to all those different learning styles.
So how can educators actually, implement this multiple intelligence framework
Yeah.
in real ways? What would that look like in a classroom?
Well, it starts by recognizing that one size doesn't fit all.
Right.
Goal is to provide, a menu.
Okay.
A menu of learning experiences that cater to different intellectual profiles.
I like that.
So, for example, imagine a unit on ancient civilizations. Now, instead of just using textbooks and lectures, you could engage in a variety of activities.
Yeah, I like where this is going.
So you could have linguistic learners.
Okay.
They could delve into primary sources, historical narratives.
Right.
Spatial learners. They could create models.
Right.
Maps of ancient cities. Bodily kinesthetic learners. They could participate in simulations.
Right.
Dramatic reenactments. Bring that history to life.
Yeah. Everyone's connecting with the material in a way that works for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And technology, can enrich these experiences even more.
Right.
Students with musical intelligence could create soundtracks for those historical documentaries,
Right.
while those with interpersonal intelligence could, collaborate on a virtual museum exhibit. The possibilities really are endless.
It's like creating multiple entry points for those students so they can access and engage with the material in a way that makes sense for them.
Yeah.
And then that deepens their learning, but it also gets them excited about it.
Yeah.
It makes them actually want to learn.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about assessment.
Right. How do we even measure this?
Exactly. We have to move beyond those traditional standardized tests.
Because those don't really capture all of these things.
Exactly.
You can't gauge spatial reasoning by having someone fill in some bubbles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Evaluating multiple intelligences requires a much more nuanced approach.
Okay.
You need observations, portfolios, performances, project-based assessments.
So looking for evidence of those intelligences.
Yes.
But not just, one single test.
Exactly.
One day.
Yeah, we need to acknowledge that intelligence is much more dynamic.
Right.
And it cannot be captured by a single test score.
Right. And Gardner's theory has this other crucial aspect, which is that we can develop these intelligences.
Mm.
And I think that's really empowering.
It is.
That we're not, just stuck
Yeah.
with what we're born with.
It's incredibly empowering. People can realize that their intelligence can, grow and transform.
So how do we actually, in real life, foster the development of these intelligences?
It's a blend of providing those rich environments
Okay.
and targeted learning experiences.
Right.
So just like our musician in Paris, she thrives in that context where technology intersects with her musical and logical mathematical intelligences.
Right.
Others will thrive in environments that are tailored
Right.
to their own strengths.
So let's say someone has strong interpersonal intelligence.
Okay.
How could you nurture that? How could you make that grow?
You could provide opportunities for them to be leaders,
Okay.
collaborative projects,
Right.
even conflict resolution activities.
Okay.
These experiences, they help them hone those social skills.
Right.
They deepen their understanding of human dynamics.
Okay.
And they apply their strengths in really meaningful ways.
What about someone with strong bodily-kinesthetic intelligence?
You encourage them to participate in sports
Right.
or dance or hands-on activities, building things, creating things. The key is to align the learning experiences with those individual strengths.
Right.
Provide plenty of opportunities to practice, experiment,
Right.
and ultimately grow.
It's like giving a plant the right nutrients and the right environment.
A brilliant analogy. Just like a gardener might, provide support or prune to guide its development,
Right.
educators can offer scaffolding and mentorship to help students cultivate those intelligences.
So it's not just about presenting the opportunity, it's about actively helping them.
Exactly, yeah. However, while focusing on strengths is essential, we can't just neglect areas where individuals face, challenges.
Right, because sometimes you need to address those weaknesses
Absolutely.
to become more balanced.
Yeah. However, the approach to strengthening those areas should be different. Instead of trying to transform someone who struggles with math into a calculus prodigy,
Right.
we can empower them with different strategies
Okay.
or guide them towards alternative pathways to achieve their goals.
So like if a student with weaker spatial skills wants to be an architect, we encourage them to focus on the linguistic or the interpersonal skill.
Precisely.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that everyone has their own unique profile
Right.
and that success can be achieved in many ways.
Yeah. You find those creative solutions
Yeah.
that help them leverage their strengths and navigate those challenges, ultimately achieving what they want to achieve.
Exactly. Now let's shift our attention to another critical facet of education, the influence of cultural values,
Okay.
societal expectations on intellectual development.
So how do these cultural differences actually shape how we see and develop intelligences?
As we've seen with, the Puluwat navigators and the Islamic scholars, different cultures emphasize and cultivate different strengths.
Right.
Some societies really prize, linguistic intelligence, while others prioritize spatial or bodily kinesthetic intelligence.
Yeah.
And these cultural values, they influence educational practices, even shape individuals' perceptions of their own abilities.
So what might be a weakness in one culture could be a strength in another.
Precisely.
It's all relative
Yeah.
to the society you're in.
It is. And that underscores the importance of cultural sensitivity in education.
Right.
We have to acknowledge that students bring these diverse perspectives and learning styles
Right.
to the classroom. We need to respect those differences rather than, imposing a uniform approach.
So fostering these inclusive learning environments. that embrace all these different perspectives.
Yeah.
Because intelligence is this multifaceted tapestry.
Exactly. And as our world is becoming, increasingly interconnected,
Right.
cultural awareness becomes even more crucial.
Right.
We need to equip students with the skills and the understanding to navigate a world where they'll be collaborating with people from all different backgrounds.
That's right. You have to develop those cross-cultural communication skills.
Mm.
Being able to, appreciate different ways of thinking, empathize with different perspectives, and be able to effectively collaborate with, people who might be approaching problem solving from different cognitive angles.
Exactly. And this leads us to another intriguing aspect of Gardner's theory. The notion that intelligence can be distributed, extending beyond the individual brain.
Okay, so we touched on this earlier.
Mm.
Can we go a little deeper into that?
Mm.
How do tools and technologies really act as extensions of our intelligence?
Okay, well, think of a simple tool,
Okay.
like a hammer.
Okay.
It amplifies our physical strength, right?
Mm.
Allows us to do things we couldn't do with our bare hands.
Right.
Similarly, more sophisticated tools, computers, the internet,
Right.
they enhance our cognitive abilities.
Right.
They allow us to process information, to solve problems,
Right.
to connect with others in ways that go far beyond what we could do individually.
So they become like cognitive prosthetics,
Precisely.
like glasses are for our vision.
Yeah, and social interactions, play a vital role in this.
Right.
We learn from each other, we collaborate, we build on each other's knowledge, creating that collective intelligence.
It's more than just the sum of its parts.
Exactly.
Right, when those perspectives and strengths come together.
Exactly. And this distributed view of intelligence has huge implications for how we approach education.
Okay.
It suggests that learning shouldn't be this solitary pursuit.
Right.
It should be this collaborative, interactive endeavor.
So classrooms become ecosystems
Mm-hmm.
of knowledge exchange.
Yes.
Working together, sharing ideas,
Exactly, yeah.
co-constructing knowledge.
Precisely. And technology can, help facilitate this process.
Right.
Imagine students from different countries working together
Right.
on a virtual science project.
Right.
Or how online platforms can connect mentors and students with shared interests.
It's amazing how technology can break down those barriers.
It really is.
It's inspiring to think about all the possibilities.
Indeed. And as we embrace this distributed perspective, we have to reconsider the role of the educator.
Right, because if intelligence isn't just in the individual,
Mm-hmm.
that traditional model of a teacher as like the holder of all knowledge
Mm-hmm.
becomes kind of outdated.
Absolutely.
So they're not just dispensing information, they're more like facilitators,
Yeah.
guides,
Yeah.
co-learners
Exactly.
in these dynamic systems.
Yeah. So it's less about lecturing
Right.
and more about crafting engaging collaborative experiences
Right.
where students are actively constructing knowledge,
Okay.
guided and supported by the educator.
So what are some qualities of an educator in this world?
Well, adaptability,
Okay.
openness to new ideas, those
Yeah.
are paramount. Technology changes so fast,
Right.
educators have to be comfortable with these new tools and approaches.
So they have to be lifelong learners themselves.
Exactly, yeah. They need to be able to foster collaboration and communication, creating those supportive and inclusive environments
Right.
where students feel, safe to take risks,
Right.
to share their ideas,
Right.
to learn from those mistakes without judgments.
So they're like a guide,
Yeah,
a mentor.
exactly. And crucially, they need to have a deep understanding of multiple intelligences
Okay.
and how to assess and nurture those diverse abilities.
So moving away from those standardized tests,
Mm-hmm.
using those more nuanced methods
Exactly, yeah.
that we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
recognizing each student's unique, strengths and challenges,
Mm-hmm.
and that there are many paths to success.
Precise.
It's an exciting vision for education,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not without its challenges.
It certainly is not, no. Trying to implement this framework within a standardized, test-driven system, that's daunting.
Right, there's tension there
Yeah,
between helping those individuals and meeting those benchmarks.
exactly.
Yeah.
And ensuring everyone has access to technology.
Right.
And resources, that's another big challenge.
So we need to bridge the digital divide.
Yeah.
Make sure that all students, regardless of their background,
Mm-hmm.
can thrive in this world.
Absolutely. And then there's just the challenge of keeping up with, how fast technology is evolving.
Right? It's like a constant game of catch up.
It is.
But it also means there's so much opportunity for growth and innovation.
There is.
So while these challenges exist, the rewards of embracing this framework are huge.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a world where education is truly personalized,
Mm.
where every student has the chance to, find their passions
Mm.
and develop those strengths.
It's a world where everyone thrives.
Right.
They contribute their own unique talents and perspectives.
It's beautiful. But let's bring it back down to earth. How do we actually implement this in our own lives?
Okay.
Whether we're educators, parents, or just lifelong learners.
That's an excellent question.
Where do we even begin this journey of, self-discovery and intellectual empowerment?
Well, the first step is self-awareness.
Okay.
It's about recognizing our own strengths and weaknesses
Right.
and understanding how they influence how we learn.
So it's like taking inventory of your own, cognitive toolbox.
Precisely, yeah.
What tools you have.
Yeah, and once you have a better understanding of your own profile, you can seek out experiences that cater to your strengths
Right.
and help you, work around your challenges.
So let's say someone realizes they have strong spatial intelligence,
Okay.
but they have trouble with linguistic tasks.
Right.
What could they do?
Well, they could incorporate visuals,
Yeah.
diagrams,
Yeah.
harness those spatial strengths
Okay.
to grasp those complex concepts or memorize information. They might also, be drawn towards more hands-on activities
Right.
or visual demonstrations rather than lectures or lots of text.
So you're playing to those strengths.
Right.
Finding those paths that work for you.
Exactly. But it's also about acknowledging those weaknesses
Right.
and developing strategies to compensate using the tools and resources we have.
Right. And technology can be a great tool for that.
Oh, absolutely.
Someone who struggles with writing can use speech to text
Mhm.
or grammar checkers,
Exactly, yeah.
improve their written communication. Technology can help overcome those challenges. It can
Yeah.
help us learn.
It can.
So it's all about finding those creative solutions that resonate with you.
It is. Another crucial step is creating environments that support different learning styles.
Right?
So how do you do that?
Yeah. How do you do that? Create these stimulating and inclusive environments.
Well, it starts by recognizing that there's no one right answer.
Right.
You can't expect everyone to thrive in the same environment.
Right. You have to embrace the fact that people are different.
Exactly, yeah. So whether you're an educator designing a classroom
Okay.
or a parent creating a learning environment at home, you need to provide different kinds of experiences.
It's offering lots of options.
Yeah.
Books, games, puzzles,
Mm.
art supplies, musical instruments, technology. Let them explore and discover what they're passionate about.
Precisely, yeah. And it's important to create a culture of respect and inclusivity
Right.
where everyone feels valued and supported.
So you celebrate those differences,
Yeah,
recognizing that everyone has their own way of learning.
absolutely, yeah. And this leads us to another important aspect, cultivating a growth mindset.
Oh, I've heard that term before.
Mm-hmm.
Can you remind me what that means?
A growth mindset is the belief that our abilities are not fixed,
Okay.
that they can be developed
Okay.
through effort, persistence,
All right.
and learning from, setbacks. So
Okay.
the opposite of a fixed mindset,
Right.
which assumes that our intelligence is just predetermined.
You're either smart or you're not.
Exactly. So it's about embracing those challenges, seeing them as opportunities to grow.
Not like threats.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And understanding that mistakes, they're not failures.
Right.
They're stepping stones on the path to, becoming better.
It's like that quote from Michael Jordan. I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. It's like those setbacks are going to happen.
Mhm.
You're going to have those,
Yeah.
but it's what you do with them.
Exactly. Yeah. And this mindset, extends beyond ourselves
Right.
to those that we mentor
Right.
or teach. It's about encouraging effort,
Okay.
persistence,
Huh.
praising, the process, not just the final product,
Right.
helping them develop those resilient learning habits.
So not praising a child for being smart, but praising them for their effort,
Yeah.
their creativity,
Praising
that are within their control.
precisely. Yeah.
It's about shifting that focus
Yeah.
from things that are just innate
Mm-hmm.
to those qualities that we can actually develop if we work at it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's powerful.
It is. And it's important to remember that this is a journey, not a destination. It's about seeking out new challenges, expanding our knowledge,
Oh, yeah.
refining those skills throughout our lives.
So always be learning.
Precisely.
Be curious. Explore new ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Delve deeper.
Exactly. Yeah. And as we embark on this, journey,
Right.
we're not alone. We can connect with others,
Right.
find mentors, collaborate, to learn more.
So tapping into that distributed intelligence that we talked about, that knowledge isn't just in our heads, it's everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. And by embracing this, collaborative approach, we can achieve so much more.
It's amazing. It makes you wonder, what if we use this framework
Hmm.
to tackle the big problems that we face?
That's a brilliant proposition.
Gotcha.
Imagine teams of scientists,
Right.
artists, engineers, policymakers, community leaders all working together, using their unique talents to
Wow.
tackle these challenges.
Right. Like climate change, poverty,
Hmm.
conflict,
Exactly.
but like a global think tank,
Hmm.
the brightest minds coming together
Exactly.
from everywhere.
To find solutions. Precisely. And technology can help connect those individuals.
Right.
Imagine platforms
Right.
where experts from around the world can share their knowledge, analyze data,
Yeah.
develop solutions together.
It's like crowdsourcing solutions for humanity,
Exactly.
using all that collective intelligence. So with this multiple intelligence framework, we can move beyond those narrow ways of thinking
Hmm.
that have prevented us from solving these problems.
Precisely.
Because there's no one solution.
Hmm.
There's no one right way.
Hmm.
We need all the different types of intelligence to solve them.
Precisely. And this is where education becomes, so important.
Right.
We need to equip future generations with the skills and the knowledge
Right.
and the mindset
Right.
to not only survive in this world, but to make it better.
Right. So teaching them critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, collaboration,
Hmm.
that growth mindset.
Exactly.
Because these are the tools they need, not just to navigate their own lives, but to help everyone.
Exactly, yeah.
It's about empowering them to make a difference,
Hmm.
to see challenges as opportunities,
Mm.
and to work together to create a better world.
Exactly.
It's really inspiring.
It is.
And I think it's something we can achieve if we all work at it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about some practical steps for implementing this
Okay.
in our lives.
Okay.
So where do we go from here?
The first step is cultivating self-awareness,
Okay.
recognizing our own strengths and weaknesses,
Right.
and understanding how they influence how we learn. So once we have a clear understanding of our intellectual profile, we can seek out learning experiences that cater to our strengths and help us navigate our areas of challenge.
So let's say someone discovers they have strong spatial intelligence,
Okay.
but struggles with linguistic tasks.
Mm-hmm.
What strategies can they use to play to their strengths and overcome their challenges?
Well, they could incorporate visual aids or diagrams into their learning. They could also gravitate toward learning experiences that emphasize hands-on activities or visual demonstrations,
Okay.
rather than lectures or text-heavy materials.
So they're playing to their strengths and finding alternative pathways that allow them to learn and grow in ways that align with their own cognitive wiring.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's also about acknowledging our weaknesses and developing strategies to compensate for them, utilizing the tools and resources that are available to us. Technology can be a powerful ally in this. For instance, for someone who struggles with writing, speech-to-text software or grammar checkers could be invaluable.
Precisely. Technology can be harnessed to overcome intellectual challenges and expand our learning horizons.
So it's all about finding those creative solutions that resonate with our individual needs and learning preferences.
Indeed. Another crucial step in applying this multiple intelligence framework is creating environments that support diverse learning styles.
Okay, how do we go about creating these intellectually stimulating and inclusive environments?
It begins with recognizing that there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Right.
We can't expect everyone to thrive in the same rigid learning environment.
We need to move beyond that cookie-cutter approach to education
Yeah.
and embrace the diversity of human intellect.
Exactly. Whether we're educators designing a classroom or parents fostering a home learning environment, we need to provide a diverse array of learning experiences that cater to different intellectual strengths and learning preferences.
So it's about offering a rich tapestry of learning options.
Mm-hmm.
Books, games, puzzles, art supplies, musical instruments, technology, allowing individuals to explore and discover what ignites their passion and fuels their intellectual growth.
Precisely, yeah. And it's equally important to cultivate a culture of respect and inclusivity,
Right.
where everyone feels valued and supported regardless of their intellectual profile.
It's about celebrating those differences, recognizing that each person has their own unique way of learning and contributing to the world.
Absolutely, yeah. This leads us to another vital aspect of fostering intellectual development, cultivating a growth mindset.
I've encountered this term before. Could you remind us what constitutes a growth mindset?
A growth mindset embodies the belief that our abilities are not fixed, but can be developed through effort, persistence, and learning from our setbacks. It's the antithesis of a fixed mindset, which assumes that our intelligence is predetermined and unchangeable.
So it's about embracing challenges, viewing them as opportunities for growth rather than threats to our self-worth. It's about understanding that mistakes are not failures, but rather stepping stones on the path to mastery.
Precisely. And this mindset shift is crucial for unlocking intellectual potential. When individuals believe they can expand their abilities, they're more likely to persevere through challenges, embrace new learning experiences, and ultimately achieve greater success.
It reminds me of that famous quote from Michael Jordan. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. It's about recognizing that setbacks are an inevitable part of the journey and using them as fuel for growth and resilience.
Absolutely, yeah. And this growth mindset extends beyond ourselves to those we mentor or teach. It's about encouraging effort and perseverance, praising the process rather than solely focusing on the product. It's about helping individuals develop those resilient learning habits that will serve them well throughout their lives.
So instead of praising a child for being smart, we might commend their effort, creativity, or problem-solving skills.
Mhm.
Those qualities that are within their control and can be nurtured through dedication and hard work.
Precisely. It's about shifting the focus from innate abilities to those qualities that are malleable and can be cultivated through deliberate practice and a commitment to lifelong learning.
It's an incredibly empowering message for individuals of all ages.
Indeed. And it's vital to remember that fostering intellectual development is an ongoing journey, not a destination. It's about continuously seeking out new challenges, expanding our knowledge base, and refining our skills throughout our lives.
It's about embracing that lifelong learner mentality, that insatiable curiosity to explore new ideas, delve deeper into our areas of passion, and continuously stretch our intellectual boundaries.
Precisely. And as we embark on this lifelong learning adventure, it's important to remember that we're not alone. We can leverage our social networks, connect with mentors, and collaborate with others to expand our learning horizons and achieve collective goals.
Right. It's about tapping into that distributed intelligence, recognizing that knowledge isn't solely contained within our individual minds, but is disseminated throughout our communities and the world around us.
Exactly.
It's mind-blowing how much our view of intelligence has totally shifted. We've gone from this, rigid view to this dynamic, multifaceted thing. It's everywhere.
It's been a journey. And, as we conclude our exploration of multiple intelligences, I'm curious, what are our researchers looking at now? What are those unresolved questions, the things driving this field forward?
Yeah. What are those mysteries of the mind still waiting to be, unraveled?
Well, one area is the potential for, new intelligences beyond what Gardner originally
Oh,
proposed.
so there might be even more.
There might. Could there be other ways our brains excel that we haven't fully grasped?
So, hidden talents still lurking within us.
Yeah.
What are, the candidates,
Yeah.
the contenders for these new additions?
Well, they're looking into things like, naturalistic intelligence, that sensitivity to the natural world, that ability to discern and categorize, plants, animals, natural
So, yeah,
phenomena.
biologists, naturalists, environmentalists, those
Yeah.
who have that connection to nature.
Precisely. And then there's existential intelligence.
Okay.
So that capacity to grapple with the big philosophical questions.
Right. Meaning, purpose,
Exactly.
meaning of life, all that.
Yeah. So philosophers, theologians, those who ponder those deep mysteries of life. And of course, there's pedagogical intelligence.
Oh, right. Teaching.
Exactly. That skill of imparting knowledge, mentoring, guiding others.
So our master educators who have that gift for inspiring learners. It's exciting to think that there could be even more types of intelligence out there.
It is. It really opens up the possibilities of, what the human mind is capable of. But as we explore these distinct intelligences, it does raise the question, how do they all interact? How do they influence one another?
Right, they don't exist in isolation. It's like this intricate web.
Exactly. So how does spatial intelligence work with bodily kinesthetic intelligence in, say, a skilled athlete or dancer? Or how do interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligences combine to make a great leader or therapist?
Yeah, it's like a tapestry with all these threads interwoven. Each one contributes to the beauty and complexity of the whole piece.
Beautifully put. And understanding these relationships can help us, tailor educational strategies or even career guidance to align with those unique cognitive profiles.
So instead of focusing on just one intelligence, We can help people find paths that use their unique blend of strengths to live a more fulfilling and successful life.
Precisely. But we can't ignore the elephant in the room, the digital age. How is technology impacting our intelligences?
Yeah, we've talked about how technology can help us amplify our abilities, but are there downsides too? Things to be cautious of.
Well, some researchers worry that our reliance on technology might be weakening certain cognitive skills.
Oh, interesting.
Things like attention span, memory, critical thinking.
So while technology empowers us in some areas, it might also be making us weaker in others.
It's a balance. As we depend more on technology to process information and solve problems, we have to be mindful of those potential trade-offs.
Right. It's about using technology wisely to enhance our lives while still nurturing those essential skills that make us human.
Exactly. Technology is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It's up to us to shape how technology influences our intelligence, to make sure it elevates us, not diminishes us.
We're not just passive recipients of technology. We can choose how it impacts us. But this isn't just an individual responsibility, is it?
No, it's societal as well. We need conversations about the ethics of artificial intelligence, the impact of automation on jobs, ensuring everyone has equal access to technology and education.
We have to shape a future where technology truly serves humanity, helps us, expands our abilities, doesn't just widen the gaps between us.
Exactly. Which brings us to another crucial question. How can we use this understanding of multiple intelligences to create a more just and equitable world?
That's a big question, but it's an important one. Intelligence isn't just about what one person can achieve, it's about our collective potential to solve problems, create, innovate, make a better future for everyone.
Absolutely. And embracing this framework allows us to challenge those systems that only value certain types of intelligence, the ones that often leave people behind.
Like those standardized tests that favor certain skills while neglecting others, like we talked about.
Exactly. By recognizing and valuing all types of intelligence, we can build more inclusive systems. Schools, workplaces, societies, where everyone has the chance to contribute, to share their unique talent.
We need to broaden our definition of success,
Mm,
acknowledge that intelligence comes in many forms, and each one has value.
precisely. And that shift can make a real difference. It can lead to a more just and equitable world where everyone, regardless of their background, their intelligence profile, has the opportunity to thrive.
It's a beautiful vision. And as we wrap up our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with this thought. The theory of multiple intelligences is more than just a theory. It's a way of looking at the world. It's a way to understand ourselves, appreciate the incredible diversity of human potential, and work towards a world where everyone can shine.
It's an invitation to celebrate our differences and collaborate, to build a brighter future together.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of multiple intelligences. Remember, embrace your strengths, find what you're passionate about, and never stop exploring the potential of your own mind.
And remember to look beyond yourself, to appreciate the unique intelligences of those around you. Let's work together to create a world where everyone can thrive.
Beautifully said. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep exploring.